doing.
Go. All right, everyone. We are here live. It's September 26th, and we are here with...
Did you say September 26th?
Damn it, I always screw the date up. My bad. It's September 6th. I'll figure it out one day. I do have the year right. It's 2023.
That's correct.
All right. Well, we can shoot a show in the future. It'll be September 26th. All right, so we are here today. We've got an awesome special guest in studio. We have Ben Meyer.
Oh, wait, it's me.
That's you. Get your camera straight. I'll get my
so
date.
used to
You
going
get
in
the
order.
camera straight, and I'll get the date straight. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Cool, cool. And we have his wife, Kathy, in studio.
Hi.
What's up?
What's up, Kathy? So I've been wanting to get Ben in here for quite some time. And I see him around town on occasion. I'm like, hey, podcast. And I give him an elbow. And he's like, yep. So I finally saw him at the Ministry Show, which AKA is the Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I reminded Ben or just asked him again, but
A little bit of both,
a
probably.
little bit of both. And so here we are. He called me a couple days later and he goes, hey, let's do this. So I was like, fuck yeah. So we're going to talk life and times of Ben Meyer, and Kathy's going to chime in as the supportive role in this relationship. And we're going to kind of dig into what goes on in Ben's head. I've actually been a huge fan of Ben's since I was a young kid. And when I say young kid, probably 13, 14 years old. I was in a band, and I think at that time, Ben, that was Deranged Mentality, which was soon to be after that Artistic Butchery. And I had tons of questions about performing live and playing, and Ben was a huge musical inspiration. I was listening to a lot of his music, and he was just awesome enough to sit on the phone with me. This is back when telephones actually had the cord on the wall, and you actually had to sit in one place. And Ben would sit there and talk to me for quite some time about, just giving me advice. So I just, he's always been that dude that is just awesome at helping people out and giving an ear. And so it's always gone a long way in my book. So, Ben, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for the invite. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Nice studio. Wow.
Thank you. I'm trying to get this situated. One day it will be officially done.
It looks awesome. Coming along great.
So
It's always going to be a work in progress for
Yeah.
you. You're always going to find something else.
something. That's fine. So tonight we're drinking some Michelob Ultra. So we are drinking with Drew, and we're
All
doing
right,
some
here we
Mick
go.
Ultra.
Cheers.
Cheers to everybody.
Cheers to everyone.
Yes. So Ben, and I didn't even bring my pamphlet, so
That's all right.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
have
We're
to.
going on the fly.
We're going on the fly. I had some notes that
I was wondering, like, which way do you look in here? So
Your camera is up there somewhere.
up there. Okay.
Yeah. I think you've
Oh,
got
okay. I was wondering about that. I was like,
Kathy, you got to find yours. You're over
I
here
see
somewhere.
it.
You got
Yeah,
it?
she's
Okay.
got it.
oh, okay. Now I get it. Wow, that's cool.
You'll
There's
find
right
that
there.
we never actually look at our cameras. I'm always looking at him or like turning my head and
Yeah.
not talking into the mic. So
So each person has their own camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
High tech.
we're kind of like, Fox 13 or WTVT, but not quite. We're
Yeah.
WDREW.
Hey, man. It's working. It's awesome.
Yeah. So Ben, I kind of want to go through like if I was writing a book about Ben, and that's kind of how I
Wow.
imagine this interview going. And I don't know if it's going to be that
That's
easy.
all right. Yeah.
But we had some meatballs and shrimp before the show, and we were chatting at the table, and I cut you off on a few conversations because I wanted to save them for the show.
That's good.
but you are still around Tampa a ton, and you play. You have your own gigs lined up, but you're just that guy that you're still in the scene. You're still around. What's driving you right now to just go out and see the scene? Do you just? I know you have to enjoy it.
You just got to love what you do. People know if you don't, but I mean, I love what I do, and I love entertaining people and playing music. I've always been a hard worker with a drive that just, it's hard to say what I'm trying to say, but it just, you just love what you do, and people know it. Be humble and be enthusiastic and keep pecking at it. I played all different styles of music too. Started out more like a rock fan, then got the hard rock, and then the heavy metal, and then death metal.
Would you say
metal.
you've chilled out a little bit, or do you still?
I still love the heavy stuff, but I'm going just to where I can. I just learned a variety of types of songs. I hope probably about 600 different songs I can do, and I go all over the place. You could go from Johnny Cash to Ace of Spades, and people are going, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like who the heck would do that? And I'm going all over the place, and somehow it works. I can make a living at it, and it's hard when you got 5 guys to all be on the same page. Everybody wants to do something different, and when you're in a band, it might not all have the same motives, and you might not want to do it full time. That was what I wanted, was something that was full time musician,
right?
And it's hard to find the guys that are on the same page as you and willing to work for, whatever it takes to make it. Not really like trying to make it big time. I'm just trying to be the humble guy out there, just enjoying life and playing music and entertaining people. It's not like I'm playing in an arena or something, but it's
right.
just a small, humble audience. And
you have played pretty big shows.
I have played arenas. I have, yeah.
So let's go back. Let's Scooby-Doo trail back to like Ben when he was 5 years old. What were you doing back in the day? Like when you were a kid, like how did
inspiration?
The earliest inspiration when you said I'm gonna be a guitarist or even a musician. Like, what was that first inkling in your eye?
Back then, I didn't really have much. I was just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Just having fun as a kid. Didn't really have a big music influence at 5, I'd have to say. But
what were you from Tampa originally?
I was born in New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
And we moved to Florida that's the time we moved, right about 5. And we moved to West Palm Beach when I was 5, and then when I was 13, we moved to Gibsonton, and I started out in the 7th grade in West Palm Beach. Then I went to, I think it was Eisenhower. Then we bought a house in Brandon, my family, and then I ended up going to Franklin. So I went to 3 different 7th grade schools, and then we stayed in that house, till I was 25.
Wow.
And I bought a house over there by the casino. That's where I saw you the other day.
Yep. We are there quite a bit.
There was a good band that day, too.
Yeah, it was actually.
What was they called?
I don't even remember.
I didn't even look at the name.
I see their band.
The
they have
Dirty
different...
Janes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds
I'll
right.
tell you what, man, that band was like, wow, that was a young band that was
Yeah, they were
really
talented.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you started playing music in general, were you always just leaning towards a guitar? Did you ever play drums or anything else?
Actually, that's a story on its own. I actually started with bass.
Okay.
So in 8th grade, I did a report in high school where I said, they said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a photographer. And I said, oh, that's kind of a hard trade. That's probably just as hard as a musician, maybe even harder, because everybody just wants you to take pictures, but they probably don't want to give you nothing. But I bought a Minolta XG1 camera, and started getting serious with it maybe in about the 12th grade and 11th or 12th grade. And I wasn't playing an instrument that time, but I was enjoying music. And then next thing you know, I brought that Minolta XG1 to my Ford Maverick to a Mahogany Rush concert in Lakeland. And Frank Marino and the Mahogany Rush. And this one guy I knew says, "Hey, man, I'm up front, man. Look, can I borrow your camera? I'll get some good shots." I'm thinking, yeah. He was very persuasive. I let him do it, and I'm sitting around, and I'm thinking, like, where is he? And I couldn't find him the whole rest of the concert. And
No shit.
that camera dropped, and he didn't want to say nothing, so I had to hunt him down the next day, and I was like, man, that just totally sucked. And I was so here I was, like, I had to find him the next day, so I went to his house, and he was there probably, and he goes, "I'll tell you what, I dropped your camera, and I'll help you get it fixed." And it was back then it was like $150, which was a lot in the probably 1981.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you my bass guitar, and we'll call it even." That's what got me started in the bass.
There you go.
Oh my, that's the best, like an accident.
Yeah.
And I started
Changed
playing
your life.
bass and just kind of playing along, and really wasn't that good, but I tried. I'd throw on some Sabbath or something and start playing along on that bass, and I jammed with this one guy named Jack Temfer, and I wasn't very good. I tried out for a couple bands. I really wasn't worth getting in. I just wanted to do something, I was happy.
Right.
And finally I bought that guy Jack sold me his guitar. I still have that guitar. It's a Honda 2 Strat. And what was it like? So I would start playing that a little bit. Wasn't very good with it, but I was, trying. Playing the first 2 or 3 riffs to like Smoke on the Water or something. And next thing you know, I was showing other people the bass so I could play guitar to it, and started getting better at it. And next thing you know, start doing jamming with people, and formed a band, Nightmare, that had like Craig Huffman playing. And we used to go to this house on Windhorse where this guy Kenny played drums, but then actually it was Kenny that was the first drummer.
Is that Ken Carg?
His name was not Ken Carnig. No, I forgot it. Kenny Thompson was his name.
Okay.
And we'd practice at his house, and he'd always have some different people jamming over there. It was just more fun, and just have it invite people over. And next thing you know, he was kind of the drummer, and then he didn't really show enough interest in it. And then that's about the time we met Craig Huffman, and Fred was the one playing the bass at that time, most of the time, and I was starting to play guitar, sometimes bass, and then somehow that all turned into Craig Huffman, me, and Fred were the serious people, and we kind of formed a band. At that time, we got a girl singer called.
I thought you were going to say you got a girl pregnant. I'm like, what? Hey. Okay, girl singer. What was her name?
But no, her name was Jerry Lynn. That was probably about 1982. I was 1982,
Okay.
and
Did she ever go on to do anything? 'Cause you don't see a lot of female vocalists, especially in Tampa.
Yeah, she was. I don't know whatever happened to her, but she didn't. She was actually not a bad singer, but it was just like really didn't fit our style, and she didn't show up for a couple gigs and left it to us to sing, or we just played songs without anybody singing. We'd play these like keg parties or Brandon parties where they
Right.
turn on their headlights, and it'd be like a dust bowl, and have
Right.
some pieces of wood on a stage.
Hell yeah.
I think Todd Grubbs played a few of those like back in the day, and I used to go watch his band. I forgot what they were called at that time, and but you would pass out a few flyers, and there'd be like 500 people show up, and
Right.
we'd be there to entertain them. And
That was the difference back then. You did everything. You passed out flyers left and right. Now it's all social media and Facebook invites, and I don't even see those. And I get shows that I don't see them. They're not advertised properly. And the flyers were always the best way, man. You go to school, pass flyers out, stick them on, the Edwards Music or Thoroughbred or, wherever. You just have them everywhere. And you'd get a decent crowd just based on the flyers.
it sure has changed. Like, back in, if you could pass out 100 flyers and have 400 or 500 people at the shows back in the old days. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd drive to St. Pete to put flyers in a record store, or go to all the different record stores and make sure you put flyers, and you'd have your little route of places to go to. And now it's all just Facebook, but I don't know, something about the flyers is something that was really cool. I really liked it.
The art of the flyer was always so awesome. We hand wrote, or, drew our own images, and tried to make your own kind of font with Deranged Mentality or whatever band we were in at the time. But yeah, it was always fun just trying to really make each flyer unique. And there's you'll see like on Facebook now with some of these group pages, people posting up images of the old flyers from like 1983 and 4 and 5. You're like, wow, man, that was
I don't
intense.
think you even see flyers anymore.
You don't. You
So
see people post photos of old flyers.
Right.
I don't see anybody doing flyers anymore.
Maybe just a flyer for their show on a digital
Right.
format, but not
Yeah.
nobody just passes them out at a bar.
They should bring that back.
I think it's just because back in the day, like you were saying, you would stop at certain music stores, and they would have a specific area for upcoming shows, and people would go to stores then. Now people are buying everything online. They're expecting social media to keep them up to date on everything, but it gets missed because your algorithm is wrong or whatever it is. And I think that's the reason why, because everyone expects the computer to just tell them when shows are coming on, and they just take it for granted and they miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss those days.
So when you were playing, were your parents supportive?
Well, they didn't really care for it that much. I mean, they didn't discourage me, but they weren't really too excited about it. Maybe because the guitar might be a little too loud in the house, but they weren't totally unsupportive.
Mm-hmm.
When we finally started getting popular with Nasty Savage, it was we had a opportunity to go to Europe to tour, and it really wasn't much money involved or anything. And my mom said to me then, she goes, well, you know what? Even if it doesn't work out, just go tour the world and have fun.
Right.
And that was encouraging.
True. Yeah. That's good.
She never really liked the style of music I was doing, but when you're a kid, your parents never usually like what the kids do in general.
Right.
That's how it is. But I can understand that.
Yeah. Growing up, my brother played drums, so my mom had to deal with me practicing guitar and him pounding on drums. 5 days, if not
That's
7
why she
days
had
a
3
week.
jobs just to stay out of the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she literally did. So I understand why now. But yeah, we had to deal with the cops showing up at our house. Like I told you, we grew up in Temple Terrace, so the neighbors are always calling cops on us. And for the most part, we were all right. But you'd get that 1 or 2 neighbors that are like, "It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Stop playing the drums." Me being 49 now, I get it. But when you're 14 years old, none of that made sense. But we had one guy show up in a bathrobe one night. He had moved in, and he seemed like a cool guy, but he just showed up one night in his bathrobe. We had like 20 people in the house, kind of partying, playing, the band, and he just, that look on his face. I opened the door, and he's like, "Come on, man, it's 1 o'clock in the morning." And I'm like, "Okay, I get you, I get it." So we chilled out.
That's me now when I'm trying to sleep and it's like a work night and you're in the garage just listening to music, and I'm just like, hello, I can hear all of that. I have to work in the morning.
Right.
I'm the curmudgeon old neighbor man. I'm just in the
Simon.
bedroom.
grab him.
Simon, here.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Our 500 or our 100-pound producer over there, Simon, making sure your microphone's working.
Hey,
Hey.
there he is.
Yeah. Sorry, Simon. I didn't mean to raise my voice. Woke you up.
Oh, that's what got him.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's
Fox.
like, who's gonna have another beer so I can grab some ice out of the
He
cooler?
does love his ice cubes.
So yeah, supportive parents definitely help. What do you think if were they trying to push you into any type of career? Like, what would you be doing if you
I
weren't
think-
playing?
it was kind of crazy when I had just graduated high school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I went to real estate school,
Oh wow.
and I took the crash course. It was like I think it was like a 4-day or course, and I said, well, I'm just going to go for a full blast, and I really studied, paid attention, and I went to Orlando and took the final test and got my license, and that was about the same time that we were really starting to get things going with the band.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't keep my license active, and the real estate scene to me at that time was like a full commitment.
Right.
So I just kind of abandoned it and stuck to the music, and so I got all that license and everything for nothing, but it was still an accomplishment. I did it, and
Right.
I heard that's really hard to pass. That
it
real
was
estate
it
test.
was man. They give you these sentences that are like million words.
They're trying to trip you up every
They're
other
trying to
word.
trick you with all these
Right,
different
right.
scenarios, and geez, I was but I passed it but didn't pursue it.
Did you sell a house?
No, I never. You once you get a license, you got to go through.
Oh,
You need several $1,000s just
True. Yeah.
to get started, and that's what I was so busy doing the music that I didn't really pursue it.
Gotcha. All the bandmates were like, "Dude, you're getting too serious with this career stuff. We need you to stay here." And
That's when things were very fun and serious, and but we never pursued it though. And I would work just a regular job, and then by the time it was time to go on tour, you'd say, I got to go on tour for 3 weeks, and then you're probably going to lose your job. Most jobs don't understand that.
right.
And so at that time, this is like 86 with Nasty Savage, and I was working at a job for a few years, and when you come back off tour, they go, man, we can't use you anymore.
Right.
And that's what happened. And I ended up working for a temporary service till our next album came out, so we could do another tour. And it's just like, it's so hard to hold a job. They even stuck me at like a garbage dump. I wrote a song about it. It's like, but they stuck me at a garbage dump. It was like I was working really lousy jobs, but just to be able to play music and be able to go when I wanted to go. But man, it's definitely a hard path if you're just in a band that didn't quite get to that level you wanted to where you can be self-sufficient.
Right. So, how did, and I promised you when we were talking about the show, we weren't going to have a podcast about Nasty Savage, and that's not at all what I want to do. But I do want to touch a little bit on it because it's a big part of your life. But
Yeah.
How did that whole process start? Like when was it when the snowball effect of, okay, you're playing, you're kind of, this is a hobby. Like who did you meet first that started that process into Nasty
Well,
Savage?
back in the garage back there on Windhorst, it was me, Fred Dragishin, and the Kenny was the guy who his parents owned the house, but he didn't really show enough interest in it. And then at that time we found Craig Huffman, and so he was the drummer in the original Nasty Savage. It's me, Fred, and what was it? Me, Fred, and Craig Huffman.
Did you guys
And
plan from that point on? Was that okay?
Well,
We are Nasty
no,
Savage
no,
at that
no,
point.
no. So then Craig goes, I know this crazy guy, and he introduced us to Ronnie,
Okay.
and Ronnie came out and he sang a couple cover songs or something. I can't remember what they were, and we didn't really give him an answer, and we were kind of unsure, but Craig was pushing for him, and then Ronnie saw us at a party or something, and like a few days, maybe a couple weeks later, he goes, "Hey man, what's the deal?" And finally, we gave in, and he goes, "Well, let's name the band Nasty Savage," and there it was, me, Craig, Fred, and Ronnie,
Okay.
and we played this house party many times, like little house parties, and but then sometimes we got where it was real serious to where there wasn't nobody there. It was just us trying to get something going, and
Did any of the songs from that period make it onto like production and
I believe
releases?
so. Metal Night, I believe that was before. That was before Dave was in the band. I believe that's it.
Okay.
That was probably 1980. That's in the middle of it, 1982.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. And then, and that's when I was using that Hondo 2 Strat, which I still have, that I got from that guy Jack Temfer. And I was using a PV at the time, and we were playing at this house, and we practiced almost every night, you know, just to try to get as good as we could. And then I'd say we did that. I can't remember. I'd say it was probably about a year, and then I think Craig got a DUI and couldn't get to practice or do anything, and I think he had to sell his drums or something. And next thing you know, Ronnie said, "Well, there's this guy named Curtis, and he's got a PA, and he's a badass drummer." And then we, at the same time, while we had another guitarist, Dave Austin, and that became the first album. 1984, we recorded 4 songs with our lunch money, and 4 songs, and down in forgot the name of the place, but it was off of Bayshore. A guy named Ken, I think it was, man, it might have been called Progressive Studios.
Yep, I do remember who you're talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, and I remember that was the time there was like a hurricane coming like through, and the whole Bayshore was like flooded, and I was driving my '72 Plymouth Fury down there, and it was like that's where it got the name The Boat. The water was up to the door level. We're all in there like going on the way to the studio, and the water's like halfway up the door, and we're going, "Oh dang, man!"
It's awesome.
They recorded a demo, and Ronnie was good at promoting it and writing letters to people,
Right.
and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, we got an offer to be on Metal.
Metal Blade, right?
It was one of their compilation albums. What was that called? Was it? Yeah, those things where they have like 10 different bands.
Yeah.
What was that called? The Metal Massacre, I think.
Yeah, something. Yeah, they do that.
And we did one song, and then with that one song, they gave us another contract for a full album deal, and they wanted to sign us for about 3 or 4. They wanted a 5-year deal, and we said, "No, man, we ain't signing no 5. We're big time. We don't want no 5-album deal or 5-year deal." Which now that I look back, is that would have been our best bet, because like they don't want somebody they have for one album. They want a commitment.
Right.
It's like you know, and that was one of our failures, I believe, because like if we would have committed, they would have promoted us harder and probably could have done better, I think, with promotion and stuff. But if you only have you for one album, we worked out some kind of special one album deal in case it really took off, and it did good. But it would have got a lot more promotion if we would have put, just more of a commitment into it.
Right. So I mean, I remember about that time. I think I got my first Nasty Savage vinyl, probably '87. I want to say that was around the time. It could have been a little later. And I took it to my cousin Mike, and I'm like, Mike, man, have you heard this? And he's like, oh yeah, man, it's fucking Nasty Savage, dude. Like that's, he acted like I was, an idiot. And so he actually knew Richard Bateman. And so he basically called Richard, and he's like, hey man, talk to my cousin Andy. And, so we actually ended up going over to Richard's house once. And he was a little later in the band, right? Or
yeah. What year did you say? 80.
I want to say it was like 87, maybe.
Well, our first album came out
way before that, but
it was in 85, I believe.
Right.
And 87, I think, Indulgence came out. And,
yep.
That was about the time of that. I can't remember exactly, but that's about when I first met Richard, I believe, right around that time. And he was in a band, I believe it was called Scimitar, and this one guy had these real big socks. I'm thinking like, what the heck's this? And they had this place in Brandon where I think Obituary played, and next thing you know, what was it? Richard's band was in the contest, it was a battle of the bands, and I was one of the judges, and that's where I first remember Richard.
Damn, that's cool. He was an awesome dude. I mean, I wasn't really close with him, but I met him a handful of times, and
yeah,
he was always down to earth, dude.
I jammed with that guy for it's probably about 88 to it's probably till the day he passed.
Right. Did you guys ever practice at his place?
Oh yeah,
that's what I thought, because I remember going over there and it looked kind of like a place that you guys would practice over there. But his dad was really cool.
Yeah, he occasionally comes to where I play over there at Jerry's Dockside.
Oh really?
I've seen him there a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So in the literally. She has to get it on camera when Simon's molesting our guests. We try to get it on video. We're gonna do a compilation of all the people that Simon has molested.
He gets so excited with new people, and he just has to give kisses and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Go lay down.
I know.
But Richard, yesterday was 5 years ago is when it happened.
Oh wow!
As of yesterday, and that's a tough day.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yep.
He definitely laid his mark on the map. Playing, what an amazing bass player.
Yes. Oh, Simon just knocked my camera over. Yeah, he was an awesome bass player for sure.
He got one time he got offered a one-way ticket to try out for Metallica when Cliff,
really.
Yeah, he goes, "No, I want a two-way ticket." He goes, he got offered a one-way ticket to try out for Metallica. He said, "I got."
That's awesome.
He didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I think he was in Agent Steel, and they saw him. I think they might have played together. I don't know. But that's when I don't know if you ever saw when he played in Agent Steel, but boy, he was on fire at that time. Boy, he was amazing.
No, and I don't think I ever saw the band play with him, because back when I was introduced to Nasty Savage, I was still in my teens, and I think I may have played or saw you guys at one venue, but I don't think he was there. I want to say it was.
I think it was it sounds like around the what was that place called? Side Streets in Brandon.
No, it definitely. If anything, it may have been like Volley Club or something, somewhere around there. It may have been Brass Mug, but
Brass Mug was very, very late in the career.
okay, yeah, because we started playing Brass Mug, I want to say '88, and that's when we were playing with like Brutality and Eulogy and
Oh, on Fletcher.
yeah, yeah. So we were playing Sunset Club, you know, a lot of those areas up there on Fletcher Avenue.
Was that the 80s? I thought it was like the, right around 90.
Yeah, it was probably late '80s, but and then I think that's around the time you were also in Gardy Lou. Was
That
that
started 90.
that was in '90? Okay.
It's like in 1990 we did Nasty Savage did 58 shows with DRI all over the place and all over the U.S. and that was the very beginning of the year, kind of, and then after that, it's kind of when we went into hiatus, and that's when Gardy Lou started, just with the guys that were left in the room.
Now, who all was in Gardy Lou?
It was me, Richard, and Craig,
Okay.
and Craig came back in the picture at the very, very end. We were going to do some shows with like Overkill, and then nothing ever really happened. I think at that time Dave said, "I'm done," and this was early 1990, and that's when we formed Gardy Lou right there.
Okay, because then that's when I saw Richard play, because I did see Gardy Lou.
Okay.
So that's definitely when I would have saw you guys. So moving forward a little bit, so we were talking earlier. So you guys were reformed and playing a show at Crowbar, which is a show that I think I reached out to Dave and I was like, hey man, you know, I'd like to shoot this show. He's like, yeah, man, sure, come out. And I may have hit you up too and said, hey man, I want to shoot the show. And so I guess that's when the show that I remember you guys getting back together. It was the Curtis Beeson,
Yeah.
The donation, you know, show for him.
Yeah.
You know, the benefit for him.
I believe that was 2006 or 7,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a lot of great bands on that. I remember it was a packed house. And
Yeah, remember Glenn Benton showed up.
yeah, he did.
They played a set.
And Obituary, and I can't remember. I think I was even playing acoustic outside or something at that time in the little crow's nest there.
Right.
But it was amazing turnout, and it helped out Curtis a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we played a couple shows after that, like a festival with Dio and Twisted Sister and Motorhead over there in Germany I think that was the Bang Your Head Festival. And Motorhead was there. I got a picture with Lemmy. Richard took it, and a picture with Lemmy, and he used film. And then when he was getting back in the plane, they did some kind of thing that something that messed up the film, and there's the picture with Lemmy. Bye.
No shit, man.
I was like, God dang it! The one picture,
sucks, man.
the one picture I want more than anything. I did get some good ones with like Udo and what's the drummer of Motorhead? I got he's amazing.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. Yeah, it's
you got everybody except for Lemmy.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I mean, if playing out of the United States versus in the United States, give me some. What's the difference? The crowd and
About just 20 times the audience.
Right. Just and I think that's when Siren was here, what they were talking about, just the vibe, going out of state, and especially in Germany and some of these countries.
I mean, if we played in, if we played a local show, it'd be about 200-300 people, and then when we played just one on our own as a warm-up show over there, there was like 2,500 people, and then the festival itself had 20,000 people.
Right.
And but we were still more like the little guys on the bill. There was 10 bands each day, and we were like, I think the third band, and there was this crazy storm that happened, and I remember that.
Yeah.
But still, it was a phenomenal experience.
Do you have a preference? Would you prefer the larger festival crowds, or do you more enjoy the smaller, more like intimate crowds that you get at the smaller venues?
Well, I mean, I like both, really. I like playing music.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Ben would show up at Jerry Mortalero's house on his New Year's Eve party and just play, in the backyard. Little parties like that, man. Sometimes it's the best time is just hanging out in the, backyard jamming
I
out.
like the small and intimate, but I also, how can you not like a giant stage and
Yeah.
kick-ass production? You like both.
Right. So, Kathy, what's it like being married to Ben? Tell me how you guys. Tell me how you guys met.
Well, he's a sweetheart, and we were just friends when we met each other. I was living in Orlando, and the way we met was just our common interest in music. I'd heard about Nasty Savage before, and there was a time I went to the Haven in Orlando. I knew Nasty Savage was on the bill, so I made a point to come over and say hello and get my picture. I was being a fangirl, you know. But the band that played along with them at that show, Iron Cross, I had always been very involved with them, helped do a lot of their producing and, just generally, promoting them through life. And we were all a real tight-knit group of people. And so whenever Nasty Savage and Iron Cross did things together, I was always able to socialize and be around those guys. And
Mm-hmm.
Ben always struck me as being just a really nice person, easy to talk to. And down the road, I had gone through a breakup, and I guess Ben got word of it, but apparently he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you ought to come over to a Gardy Lou practice sometime." And I said, "Well, let me, give me some time, get my head together. Maybe I will." I guess about a month later, I send him an email back and I go, "Hey, what's that address?"
Right.
So I went ahead out to the practice, and we got to spend a little more time together and stuff, and we were communicating back and forth between Tampa and Orlando, and we just really just I don't know, we clicked. And
Right.
we had a long distance relationship for about 2 years. I'd mostly come here to Tampa to see him on the weekend because he'd be playing or doing something, and but sometimes he'd come up to Orlando. Um, I remember that when
Get up a little bit more on that microphone
sure.
if you can.
I remember when I went to get an apartment, I picked some place that was really close to the highway I-4 because then it would only take me an hour to get to his house. Because I had full-time work in Orlando. So, but it happened, at a certain point in my life where I was able to transfer my job from where I was in Orlando to Tampa, and believe it or not, it was only like 2 miles from where Ben lived. And
Mm.
so
It's awesome.
we moved in together, and
Now, what year was that?
I moved here in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in 2012 we got married. So.
Now, are you originally from Florida?
Not originally.
Okay.
I was born in Michigan.
Okay.
And
So y'all are both from up north.
yeah, I
Okay.
lived in New Jersey before as well.
Oh, okay.
My father had a job that had us moving around a little bit to different states, but I lived in New Jersey a couple years. Um, but by the time I was there, Ben had already been down here in Florida. So,
Mm.
but I moved to Florida when I was about 11 years old, and I don't know, it was like the mid '80s when I got into the metal scene and stuff,
Okay.
which ultimately led me to,
Right.
getting to know Ben. So
Okay. And I see you out with him at shows and stuff. It seems like are you? I guess like Jason. If you see Jason at a show, you always see Candy.
His
Or
wife.
Candy, his wife. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
It's not Halloween. It's not
Yeah,
a bowl of
no,
Halloween
thank you.
candy.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
His wife, Candy. Do you find it kind of like a supportive role to go out with him when he's playing? And
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. I tried to help him, like with the moving equipment, and I'll sing a couple songs with him, on some of the duet kind of stuff, and
mm-hmm.
just do what I can. And I can't always go to his shows because of my full-time job,
Right.
but when I am able to, or don't have anything else that's really pressing happening, I try to be there for everything I can.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Understandable. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
So, Ben, did you see yourself settling down, getting married, and all that stuff early on, or did the lifestyle kind of scare you away from that?
Well, like playing music, a lot of girls don't want to say, "Hey, I'm going away for 2 months," or
Mhm.
like it's a tricky little trade. But I always had a girlfriend, but I never was married. As my first wife's Kathy, and
Mm-hmm.
waited till the late 40s to do it.
Right.
It's unusual for most people, but
You were just
yeah,
waiting for the right one.
that's it.
Yeah. I've been through two, and she's
I've been through none.
yeah.
I'm gonna die an old crazy cat lady.
You guys
Spinster.
need a refill?
Sure.
How you doing over there?
I'm low on oil here, so I'll be good. Thank you.
Okay. So we're gonna do a quick refill.
Thank you.
So Ben, are you when you go out? I know you play a lot of covers, but you kind of put your own twist to them. Are you writing? Are you still writing?
Yeah, I write a little bit, not as much as I should. I need to get back into it.
Yeah. Are you? If you were to write now, obviously, I don't. You're probably writing more stuff relating to like the acoustic.
There's no rules in life. You can do whatever you want. It's like
Mhm.
I was messing around. I got this thing from Jerry Mort where
Mm-hmm.
like a pedal that just lowers your tuning on the electric, and was making up some stuff on there. I said, "Wow, this sounds so cool." And I don't know. There's just no rules, but I could. But I think for what I'm doing now, the acoustic would be the best route for me because I'm playing all these little Irish pubs or
Mm-hmm.
beach bars or river bars. Like I play every Tuesday over there at Jerry's Dockside, and they've been wonderful, man. It's a beautiful little scene, and
Mm-hmm.
6 years on a Tuesday. I never would have thought a Tuesday would be so fun, but man, it's been wonderful.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
Do you ever foresee yourself playing in a metal band again?
There's possibly, you just never know. I haven't really been pursuing it, but anything's possible.
Yeah. So as far as Jerry's, what are some other places that you're frequenting?
Tomorrow I play at Papa Beer.
We were just there.
Literally just there for the first time.
They got a
Yeah.
it's a
That's neat.
they got some kind of pre-game party where they have me play for 4 hours tomorrow, 4 to 8.
Oh, because
Nice.
NFL
Football.
starting tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, so right before the game they have me playing, and that's something different. But man, it's got like quite a few people interested on the event, like 100 or more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Their food's really good there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then just got asked to play Saturday at the Dade City Tap House this morning. It was kind of for Saturday, which I get a lot of last minute gigs sometimes. People just come up to me like, "Hey, can you play?"
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I mean, that's never. At least you have the the circle going, you know, and
Yeah.
it seems like you're doing fine, and
Yeah,
you know,
I even play like old folks' homes, believe it or not.
hey,
This one lady that was like a big fan of mine that was like 80, about 85 years old, named Gladys, and she fell off a bar stool at one of my shows, and they they took her to the hospital, and I went to visit her at the rehab.
was she rocking out, or did she
Yes.
just have an episode?
Her favorite song was like "Proud Mary" or something, and she fell off a bar stool where I was playing, and
If
what
the
was it?
story ends with she passed away, I'm gonna feel bad for laughing.
Well, she did pass away,
Oh shit.
but it was much later.
Okay.
But I went to the old folks' home in the rehab center, and just volunteered to play her a few songs to cheer her up, just to be a nice guy. And next thing you know, the guy goes, "Hey man, you need a job?" "Yeah, okay." And I've been there for the last 7 years.
Well, at least he
That's
kept it playing
awesome.
music, and he was like, "We have some sheets that need to be changed back here."
There's this one lady and this
I
one
thought you meant music, man.
this one lady was in there like today going, "Play me some Hendrix." She's like 99 years old.
That's
"Play me
awesome.
some Hendrix. I was at Woodstock."
That's awesome.
She says something like, "Groovy, man."
That's awesome. Well, as with the way the scene is now, I know you get out there a lot. How do you see it, compared to what it was like in the early '90s and '80s? Tampa is, to me, it's kind of a strange place to be from, and watching the bands, because you have all these, the Morbid Angels, the Cannibal Corpse, the Obituaries, the DSI, that have kind of they rooted here. And I think Tampa's kind of a hard scene to please because we're so used to, I think we're spoiled.
That's
Because,
true.
we're used to seeing those bands, and, even, Nancy Savage was a part of that rooting. So now when I, 49 years old, I go out, to the Brass Mug and I see a band, it takes a lot to impress me. And not that I'm not enjoying the music, but it's kind of like that, that high that you're used to getting so high because you're seeing these bands that are awesome. And then it's like, okay, now you've got to impress me more than what I've been impressed in the last 30 years because we've just seen it all.
It's true. I don't see too much that impresses me like it used to.
Right.
That's for sure.
You see a lot of the young kids starting out and the screamo bands, and you see a lot of digital. We were talking about this with Must Not Kill that was in the studio a couple weeks ago. A lot of digital music being added to like live music, a lot of track recording, a lot of just, you can't go anywhere without somebody having an earpiece these days, but still, now it's just the digital tracks left and right. The stuff you're seeing live isn't even live anymore. It's just,
Even the big bands.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just,
It's changed quite a bit. In the old days, it was more raw,
mhm.
and but I don't even think there isn't really that much stuff that impresses me, like the bands that I do hear, like in the '80s and 70s, '80s, '90s. Man, the people didn't have all this Facebook and everything where they're not on it all day. They were writing songs,
Right.
working hard on them. Now it's like everybody's focused on. It has too many distractions, and it takes away the quality of the music. I think. I don't know. It's just
Right.
my speculation.
Brad from Must Not Kill says, "What's up, Ben?" He's on our chat.
Hey,
box
Brad,
over
how
here.
you doing, brother? Good seeing you at Rob Zombie.
Yeah. So I agree. That's what we were talking about, and it's one thing I guess people do it in the studio, but to see it live and just overdone,
That's what we were saying yesterday too. Is that the new music now is so digital and computerized and enhanced that it gets rid of the rawness of the instruments and the live plays and what you used to get when
Yeah,
you
for
bought
sure.
records and that kind of thing. So it's just, I think the live music has even followed the digital format where it's just so much, there's so much production that it gets rid of the rawness and the live and the actual like talent that goes along with it.
Yeah, I mean, I miss seeing bands fuck up on stage. Like, you don't even see that anymore because it's so, even if a guitar player screws up, there's something going behind him that covers it up. I saw a dude playing live at the Brass Mug, and I could tell he like got it, backwards, and he's like, and he looked over and he's like, you couldn't even tell. I'm like, you couldn't even hear his.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, if I guarantee you, when I screwed up when I was playing when I was 15 years old, everybody heard it. It's like screech, But now it's just, I don't know. It's like guitar players aren't confident in their playing, and so they're going out, they're playing a track behind their own track. I don't even know. I don't get it.
Yeah, really. I didn't realize they did all that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But
When was it? When was it that I met you when you were in Artistic Butchery?
it was the Deranged Mentality. Right when we went from, I think we were still in Deranged Mentality. It was still the same band. It was me, Jerry Mort.
Oh, Jerry was in.
Jerry was in our band. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cass Kring. And yeah, that was the Deranged Mentality. And actually, before Deranged Mentality, we were in a band called Rage. And that's when me and Matt were in the 5th grade, like literally 5th grade. And he was,
Wow.
my bass player.
I love that you were in the 5th grade, which means you were 10 years old, and
Yeah.
you were in a metal band called Rage.
Yeah.
What did you have to rage about at 10 years
Hey,
old?
my math teacher was a bastard. Okay. We were Mr. Campbell at fucking Temple Terrace Elementary. Yeah, we were. So we would walk from Temple Terrace Elementary School over to Edwards Music on 56th Street.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we would talk to Bill forever. That's where my mom bought all of our equipment. And so we would sit over there and hang out, and he would let us grab any guitar off the wall. I ended up talking Matt into buying a Cort bass. I had an Area Pro 2 guitar, and it was the first time I ever messed with a Floyd, because those were actually kind of new back then, and or at least to me. And so I was like, well, we're going to sit here. And our band room was kind of like a side room in Edwards Music. Like, Bill would just let us sit there and jam out. We didn't even have a drummer yet, but we were writing music left and right. And this is kind of how your influences, kind of find you. It's, you would listen to some of the stuff that we were writing and like, that's a Slayer song. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a key different, Like,
what time period is that?
oh man, that was probably 86, 87.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we met Jerry, and Jerry introduced us to Cass. And a funny story, like when we met Jerry, he was like, man, let's jam out my guitar. I've got studio lights. And I'm like, okay, cool. Matt lived right around the corner from Jerry, like on Opus up in Temple Terrace area, right off of Whiteway. And so we go over to Jerry's house, and we're like expecting like studio lights. He comes out with a light bright. Remember the light brights? He comes out with a fucking light bright, and he's like, man, check this out. We can put them on stage, and it just looks just like a, and I'm like, dude, that's a light bright. Like,
I mean, they kind of do look like light brights. Let's not look
well,
into them
I'm
now,
not
but
saying
they do
it
look
doesn't, but there's, you remember the light brights? You
Yes.
poke the holes in them and you make the designs, So that was Jerry's studio light. So we always joked about that to this day. And so we met Cass, and we were playing he was playing drums right up in Temple Terrace. Like, everybody lived pretty close to each other. But that's kind of the segment from there: Rage, Deranged Mentality, Artistic Butchery. But Artistic Butchery is when we actually started playing out, and Brutality gave us a big bump with playing out with them. And I want to say that's probably how we got on some of the bigger Brass Mug stages, and even playing down in Ybor a couple times.
Is that the scene where you met Ben and were able to pick his brain and ask all the questions to help you do better?
I don't know
the band
I
thing?
don't know exactly the first time I met Ben, to be honest with you, but it was literally one of those things to where it had to be. I'm guessing it had to either be at a Brass Mug show or a Gardy Lou show, because it could have been a Gardy Lou show.
Did you ever play with Savage in the old days?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I wasn't sure.
No, we played with Brutality and a few times, and then
'Cause I know when I used to help book shows at like the Sunset, that was around
Right. Yeah.
1990, maybe 89, 90, and I had y'all in my list of bands to call.
Yeah, we played there. We played the Sunset quite a bit. Actually, I've got an old photo of me, Matt, and Cass outside of the Sunset Club, and I want to say we probably played there 5 or 6 times, maybe even 10. You know, we load my mom's 1987 Ford Escort up to the brim,
Yeah.
and fit as much equipment as we could, and then Cass would show up with his stuff, and yeah, man, and that's
There wasn't a lot of people sometimes, but
yeah, but it
the-
was always a good
the
show.
bands wanted to do it, and it was a venue that allowed it.
Yeah, it was good, and they were just it was kind of cool how the Sunset Club and then the Brass Mug. And I was talking to you the other day. There was another little club there, just a very short time period, that was right on the corner of 15th Street and Fletcher Avenue.
Man, it's not ringing a bell, but I know it. I know what there was.
And I swear that's where I saw Gardy Lou, because it was me
We did
and
play.
a few people, and we went to go see Gardy Lou, and it was a little strip mall.
I think that place didn't last very
No,
long.
it wasn't there long at all. I mean, they were serving me beer at 13 years old. So I mean, good for you. I remember I was playing darts there one night. I was probably 15 at the time. I don't remember, but
And you look 12.
yeah. And somebody bet me a pitcher of beer if I could hit 3 bullseyes in a row. And they had a nice dartboard there, and I just bloop, bloop, bloop. Three in a row. They're like, okay, get him a pitcher of beer. I'm like, okay, Simon, get down.
Hey, Simon. Gosh.
Crazy. But yeah, I mean, good times though. And I still enjoy going out and watching the bands, and I understand, things end, bands decide to fold it. It sucks, but it happens,
I'm just gonna leave this open.
Well, everybody has a different agenda. Like I wanted something that was a full time thing, and what I'm doing now allows me to play out all the time,
Right.
and I played as many as 300 shows in 1 year.
It's awesome.
That's a lot.
That was my record, but
That's why I say that I can't always go to
Right.
shows.
Right.
it's hard for her to set a bar for 6 hours. By the time I get to a place to play,
It's a full-time job being a fangirl.
yeah, it's about 1 million hours a year.
Right.
It's all about balance.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. And it does, I was talking to Brad about this too. It takes a supportive family to do what you do. And I don't, you see a lot of the bands that travel, the bands that are actually working and making shit happen. They have the supportive family behind them, and even local musicians on up. It seems like all of the people who are successful have that supportive family, or the supportive wife, or the supportive girlfriend that help them out. That's why I'm sitting here with Laura, snapping the whip. Get them T-shirts. Get them T-shirts. 10 minutes before y'all show up. Get her medium. Get him a large. No, it definitely helps. Definitely helps.
And it helps to have a dog that eats all the ice that's in your cooler. That's what you guys are hearing in the background.
Yeah, that's what you hear, Simon eating the ice. So,
Keeping him occupied so he's not humping the guests.
right. It's very true.
Dog loves ice.
Yes, he
Yes.
does.
He's a big dog. He's about as
He's-
I'd say if he could stand up on 2 legs, he'd be as tall as me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. So, Ben, besides music, what are Ben Meyer hobbies that you get into besides the writing and all that?
What's kind of crazy is me and Kathy do a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a crazy walker. I'd say 4 days last week I totaled 100,000 steps.
Are you serious?
Holy shit.
Wow.
Oh, no, wait, wasn't
It's
it?
like a whole pair of shoes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
100,000, yeah,
We
100,000
go through a
steps.
lot.
And
Man.
Friday that night we saw you, I had like close to 32,000 steps that day.
Man.
Jesus.
Do you just like walking around your neighborhood, or do you find trails Because I know that Florida has a lot of like nature parks and trails and whatnot. But
Man, I use every possibility out there, but we got a little these little pavers around our house to where we just walk and walk, and
It's like a
I'll
track.
be on. I'll
Yeah.
be
It's
listening
all
to
the way around the
music
house.
and just walking.
Okay.
Or if I'm talking business with somebody or just talking to a friend, I'm walking. If I'm talking, I'm walking. It's kind of a.
So sitting in this chair right now is driving you crazy. You're like, let me walk
That's
around,
all
let me
right.
walk around.
It's all right.
Grab that leash, walk out my
strap a
front door.
GoPro on him and just let him go.
You want to go? You want to go walking?
Yeah, you want to go?
Simon
Gonna
will
take
take you
your
for a
dog for a
walk.
walk.
Simon
I'll
will
take
take
your-
you for a walk. Trust me.
I bet.
Yeah.
Walk. He knows this neighborhood well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a kind of a crazy thing, but we use all kinds of techniques, but we got the path around my house. You'd be surprised. You just neighbors probably think I'm nuts. We just walk around, man. Sometimes I might even have the guitar in my hand and I'm
Right.
I'm playing a song. Probably think I'm freaking nuts.
Do you know your neighbors? Like we get along with our neighbors.
Yeah,
here. we have beers and hang out in the garage. and-
They're
Simon, come here.
my
Relax.
one neighbor, Laren. He's very cool. Follows me on Facebook. He's probably gonna watch this.
Cool.
Awesome.
What's going on, man? Do
He
you guys?
he knows what everybody's doing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, one of
That's-
those, huh?
Yeah. That's our Joe. He's the
Yeah.
regular on our
But-
Tuesday
but
show.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing,
Yeah.
It makes you feel safe.
Do you guys do the Busch Gardens or any of the?
Oh yes. all
Yeah,
the
we
time.
got the pass to where we use it kind of a way to get some serious walking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You walk in Busch Gardens and you're getting 10,000 steps just walking in and out the door.
Yeah, you guys are like, fuck the tram.
That's
Right.
Yeah, we don't. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we do.
We got this covered.
But
Yeah.
walking kind of keeps you alive. I think
Yeah, I don't like the roller coasters. I just want to go walk around and see all the animals.
That's
and
kind of what
so-
we
so
do.
we
I
do.
mean,
We just walk.
I like the roller coasters, but I don't want to wait in line for an hour.
That's
you know,
true.
But like if I like the slow days when it has a brutal rain, and then like Friday there was like a brutal rain, and then all of a sudden there's nobody there.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and you got to get on all the coasters you want if you want to, or just walk around and buy those $15 beers.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Golly, man, it's $15.
It's insane.
It's more than 15. It's like I bought 2 beers. It was like $33. It's like,
Jeez
are you
Louise.
kidding me?
Yep. I used to work at Busch Gardens when I was 18. I think between the time I was 18 to 22. And so
You did security.
I-
Security.
I worked in the security office. I did dispatch and all that shit, but I was working the night that the Kumba opened.
Wow.
And so that was a big event.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was about the 80s, wasn't it?
They had a 12-year-old girl die that night on the Kumba. She had a heart attack
Oh,
on the Kumba.
wow.
That
Yeah.
is why I don't go on roller coasters. That's when
Well,
you find out you have a heart condition.
That was like my favorite ride.
Yeah, I love the
You
Kumba.
told me that.
Yeah, well, but it was. I haven't been on it in a while, but it used to be like the smoothest roller coaster.
I think
ever.
it's very smooth.
Yeah. Now they got some crazy roller
They
coasters.
got
there,
that
but-
Gwazi, the new Iron
The Iron
Gwazi.
Gwazi,
That was
yeah.
that's pretty smooth. I used to go on that. What was that one before it? Where the wooden roller coaster.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
was.
I think it was
Gwazi.
called
was
they
Gwazi.
had
Gwazi,
that,
yeah.
and then they had Python was like the other original
Mhm.
first roller coaster.
Yeah,
that
but
was-
toward the end of the Gwazi, when it was getting old, where you go on that thing.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
ridiculous.
God, no.
Yeah.
Rattle your brain.
It was like, oh
Mhm.
my god, I had left that thing with a headache.
Yeah, I think that's when they tore down and they just redid it, right?
I don't think they tore it down. I think they just added the iron supports to it.
Oh,
Well,
So
I'll tell
does,
you-
does it still? It's still just up and down, right? Because the wooden one didn't have any loops, right?
Does the
Or am I
Iron
wrong?
Gwazi have loops? I think it
I
does.
think it does.
And it's,
Oh man.
but it's smooth. It's you go on there, it's smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They fixed the little bumps.
When we would go to Busch Gardens as kids, there was the pirate ship,
Mm-hmm.
the Python, the Scorpion, the Dolphin Show, and then the animals. I don't think there was anything else. I remember the new
Well,
attraction.
you always had the flume. That was
the flume,
first.
yeah.
Flume,
The
first
flume.
one.
Yep,
yes.
and the sky ride. So those are like your basics, and then
Yeah, the
everything else
Sky
was,
Ride hasn't been working for 3 years.
Wow.
Has it been that long?
Didn't they used to have a tram too?
Oh,
Like
what do you mean?
long time ago,
That-
they used to have
that-
a
The
tram.
monorail.
The monorail.
monorail,
Yes.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because that's funny because we had two dispatch when we had the monorail dispatch, then you had the security dispatch, and they both worked on two different channels. And monorail dealt with the monorail and the zoo people, and we dealt with like what they called operations, which was like traffic and groundskeepers and security and all that shit. And anytime you heard monorail come on our channel, you know the park was shutting down because something serious happened. And they're like, escaped animal. We're like, oh shit, something big happened. It's like, okay,
Man.
somebody's died or some shit. Code red. Anytime you heard that, it's like, okay.
I just remember as a kid, you would go there and you would wait in line to get on the monorail just to ride it in the AC and like cool off for a few
Oh, yeah.
minutes, and then you'd go and keep on with your day.
I remember Crown Colony. You would go there.
Did you see him chewing
yeah.
the? He has
Simon,
never done that before.
are you serious? He's chewing the
He's
rug.
just chunking
Uh-uh.
on the rug like it's a bone.
Well, his teeth are probably frozen.
I remember the day that they stopped giving away free beer.
Me too.
right?
And Kathy got the second to the last free
Are
beer
you
there.
serious?
There was people in
I
there.
did.
There was people inside there crying. Oh my God!
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh! I
Yeah.
remember they had like a
Stop him. Simon,
sign-in.
stop that.
I remember when they brought it back for like a weekend or something like that, and we went within the past few years, and you would only get one free beer, and they would X your hands.
Yeah, they did.
Guess what? Hand sanitizer takes that right on off.
It does.
It took them a
And-
little while to figure that out.
Oh yeah. So we would just keep going through, and we would both get a beer, and I'm not a beer drinker, so I would get whatever beer he was getting. We put it into one of the refillable cups, and we'd just walk around. Kicking back, and we would just every time just hand sanitizer comes right off and get more free beer.
In the old days, I used to be like the master of disguise. I'd tuck my hair up under a hat. I'd wear
Yeah, just wait till shift change with the employees
shirt
swaps
inside
out.
wait
out.
till the next guy comes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So when I was working there, I turned 21. Like, okay, you turned 21, you can get free beer now. I'm like, cool. Probably 6 or 7 months went by, and then you didn't drink as much as they gave you, and you would just end up with these cases of beer just piling up in your closet. And like, okay, you go to these parties at Busch Gardens where everybody would bring like 3 or 4 cases of beer just because everybody had free beer. It got ridiculous. So yeah, it was one of those places where if you worked there, you probably drank, and if you didn't,
You had a lot of free
you
beer.
had so much free beer. Like literally. I remember our buddy Ian. He lived right a couple doors down from Matt. His parents worked at Busch Gardens, and so when we would go to his house, they always had just cases and cases of beer in their back room. I was like, Jesus, man. Now you know where we were at, skipping school.
You remember the escalator that they had into that factory back in the
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That thing went up. Yeah, it was-
Back when you could do the tour,
yeah.
you walk in, you smell the hops.
Yeah.
They
boiling.
did tours. I don't
Yeah.
remember them doing
Yeah,
tours.
at the brewery.
Yeah, when did that end, Ben? I can't remember.
Oh shit! After I left in '93, so
in the
no.
90s?
I left in '94, I think. But yeah, it was still going on then, and I think it was shortly after that. 'Cause a buddy of mine
Probably
worked
why I
there.
don't remember it.
It shut down maybe 2 or 3 years after that. So I want to say mid to late '90s.
They probably didn't, look too kindly upon 10-year-olds doing tours of the.
Well, as long as you were there,
Beer
your
factory.
parents or
My
something.
dad probably would have enjoyed it. Then.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure your dad had been there at some point in his
Probably
life.
yes.
Yeah. So we saw a post. Is Heather okay from the Brass Mug? We just saw a post about something.
Yeah, I think she lost her mother.
Oh, is that what?
I think
Okay.
That's what I saw.
Okay. It's unfortunate. Because it's just with Alyssa, and it seems like it sucks, but in this scene, it's like you get so close with the community, and as you get older, it's like you see things happen, and it's,
Yep.
definitely sucks.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are getting out of here alive.
That's the damn truth. That is.
And by
the
here,
truth.
you mean the show.
Right. Simon's gonna make sure of
Right.
that.
Simon.
Simon's being mellow now.
you
Right.
know. He's probably got
Yeah.
brain freeze.
He's
Probably get-
embarrassed that he was chewing on the dang
He's
rug.
not a chewer, so that's
He's
amazing.
never
that
done
he's,
that before. I
Yeah,
think he's froze a few brain cells with those ice creams.
something. Yeah. Well, Ben, man, I appreciate you coming out, man, and you're always welcome, both of you. If you want to come out, and even like I said, you could bring somebody and hang out and sit on the couch or take a chair, and just be a part of the show anytime you want, man. We're not too far away from you.
No, not far.
Mhm.
What did it take you? 20 minutes to get here?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always welcome out here, man. And I can't always guarantee the meatballs, though.
Yeah, those were some really good meatballs.
You want to take some with
Excellent.
you? We got a little
Yeah.
Tupperware.
Literally
Yeah.
has so many.
Take some
meatballs.
Drew Bad Balls home with you.
You made those Sam's meatballs your own.
Yes, I have owned
Yeah.
the Sam. I'll turn any fucking meatball into a Drew ball. Tell me what. I can get those meatballs from Publix, from Winn-Dixie. You just give me those frozen ones and pour them. I'm not sitting behind the counter doing the old,
You ever go in Sam's and just kind of wander around and check
All the
out all
time.
those samples?
all the time. And now,
we were complaining. We were complaining that they put the sample carts now in the worst possible locations.
They
That
had-
caused traffic jams in
Oh,
all of
yeah.
their main
no, so they
walk
had
areas.
it was some lobster special because the start of lobster season, I think. So they had a lobster tank where people were picking out lobsters, and across from that they had a wine sampling, and then right down like maybe 5 or 10 feet from that, they had some lady like doing crackers and cheese, and everybody was just stopped like
Well,
right
'cause
there
also,
and
too,
doing
the wine-
nothing.
The wine
I'm
tasting,
like-
they had to check your ID, so it wasn't like you
Yeah.
could keep walking with your cart and just grab a sample and go. Like,
And I was just sitting there. It's right by the deli, and I'm just like, look, there's nobody moving. I'm not a bitcher. I don't complain a lot, but
he bitched.
a manager was walking by me and said, you need to do something about that. Like, look at the traffic jam that is going on up there. Nobody's moving. Something's got to be done. So-
Traffic jam.
It was literally traffic jam. Worse, actually, than the hurricane traffic that was
Jeez.
piled up.
Wow.
It was a nightmare. Yeah, so I'm at Sam's all the time. Like, you could see I live 30 seconds from it. So it's like, okay. I'm-
1 mile.
Yeah.
Life 360 told me.
Yeah, she
1
literally
mile.
tell that story.
No,
Wait.
so last week I'm at work and I get this text and it said join Drew's circle and I'm like, what is it? And it's like Life 360 and I click the link and Life 360 is an app where you can create like your own circle, so your own little group, and it's made for like families or spouses, and it tells you when anyone in your group is on the road. It'll follow their path, like a little Google Maps thing. It'll tell you their top speed. The
Wow.
free subscription, it's kind of like basic, so that's what you get. But you can do like a paid version, and it'll give you like accident notification. Like if you get into an accident, it'll call like 911 or whatever. It'll
Right.
notify everyone in your circle. So there's all these cool features to it. But so every time a drive is completed, people in your circle will get a notification. Drew finished a drive and give like the breakdown of it. And so I just happened to check my phone and I look at the app and it says that you're walking, and it was 2 miles an hour.
I was in Sam's Club.
Yeah.
I was literally,
So I sent him a message and I'm like, oh my God, it even tells me how fast you're walking,
Yeah.
not even just driving.
I was in Sam's Club pushing my cart with my meatballs and everything that I just bought.
2
She's-
miles an hour.
She's like, I can see you walking. I'm like, damn. So it's beneficial. I either do nothing and I'll sit at home and work, or when I'm out, if I have to leave the house, it's because things are nuts and I'm all over the place.
That was yesterday.
So yesterday I was all over the place before the show started and trying to get shit done. And she's like looking at the app. She's like, Jesus Christ. Like I was,
Crisscrossing Hillsborough County.
yeah, I was literally doing this. So shit happens.
One thing about that place is you they say, Kathy says, pick up a head of lettuce. You got to pick up about 8 of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need 8 of them, or a box of cereals like this big.
Right.
Yep. I saw they had 2 of those. They had the golden, I forget, but they had 2. You walk in, they had the big old box of cereals. I'm like, we usually get the small milk. We got to get milk at Publix. And we
A
always
half
usually
gallon.
get a half gallon. Usually goes bad before we can go through a whole gallon. But I'm
Yeah.
just like, we couldn't even eat that much cereal if we
Right.
wanted to. So, and you look at the cheese and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy 300 slices of cheese. Just. But we usually we go to Publix if we want to go grocery
Yeah.
shopping. But for beer and like show stuff, I mean, they've got good deals at Sam's. You get those roasted chickens and
The
Mac and
chicken's a
cheese.
$5, $5.
Yeah,
for a-
you can't beat
it's
that
like,
shit.
yeah, you can't
Tell them
beat-
about the pizzas.
yeah, pizzas. That's what we usually do for the show. We had pizza last night, so I didn't want to re-pizza today. But we usually do like a pizza or two before the show. There's a $9.
From their cafe.
Yeah,
you
the
can
large.
get a hot pizza.
Yeah.
Huge.
Oh,
It's like
from the
$9.
front part.
Yeah.
Oh, all ready to go.
Mhm.
Okay, I
Mhm.
got
Yep. So
The
we
whole
usually,
thing is like $9 for like a meat lovers.
Yeah. So we usually
It's
do a
crazy.
pizza. And those little shrimp platters, I think, were like $20, which I'm a shrimp fan. Some people
you.
aren't.
That's cool.
Reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if ever you're in the neighborhood, I know you're working Tuesdays and you do your shows every Tuesday, so you can't come over for the regular podcast, but we can always do an extra one.
Yeah.
You can always just come hang out. He's working from home all the time.
That's
Pop
cool.
in, have a
Yep.
beer.
Yep.
It's a,
Yeah.
this is a special edition.
This is a
Yes.
special edition.
Yes.
The Ben Meyer edition.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And how many guitars do you own right now?
That's a real good question. I don't even know. But in the 20s.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. I thought I have 4. I have a 12 string in the closet, and then these hanging up.
I bring 6 guitars to a show.
Really?
Wow.
Even like
That's a lot of loading and unloading.
Like
for
a
a
Jerry's-
show.
I work myself a little too hard. So
at the
Yeah.
Jerry's Dockside type
I bring,
shows.
I have 6 guitars with me. I bring a lap steel, a ukulele, a dobro, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and a cigar box.
Okay.
6 guitars.
You need an extra cigar box?
I was gonna say,
I
if
have
you,
100.
we have.
Oh, look at that! Wow,
we do.
Yeah.
So if
wow.
do you make? Did you make it yourself or did
You
you
know, I
buy
got a
it?
friend that does.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to send some pictures to your friends, we got a lot of cigar boxes that would
Wow,
make them
look at that.
really
Yeah.
cool. Not even
So-
just the ones on the wall. There's more in the garage.
I'm
Some that
a,
would make really cool
I'm,
cigars.
I'm a cigar smoker. I like
Oh,
cigars.
okay.
And so we'll go to Cigar International and buy a cigar or two, and then they'll have that box of, cigar
empty
boxes
boxes,
where
yeah.
they're just empty, and they're like, sell them for $1 or so. And
Sometimes we'll go there and they'll be like, just take it.
yeah, if I buy like $50 worth of cigars, they're like, take a box. But yeah, so
Wow, those are
to me,
cool.
it was like, I'm going to decorate the studio, and
That's
I've
a
got
nice.
a lot of room.
They're
left,
nice.
but-
They're very decorative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided to do the back wall with the cigars, and I still have a lot of work to do in here. As you can see, I have a lot of blank space, so still have a lot of
You got
planning
some
to do.
space you can fill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the initial plan was it was still just half the regulars, or half the studio size because it was 2 rooms.
Is this a garage?
No, this was
No,
2 bedrooms.
It was 2 bedrooms. He took a wall down.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got the 2. And the original plan was when he just had the smaller room, he was literally going to like wallpaper every inch of the walls with cigar boxes. And then we realized that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And then we also realized that you wanted much more space than what the 1 bedroom was giving you. So you're like, the wall's coming down.
Yeah.
And of course, the wall we started to decorate was the wall that came down. So we
Right.
had to like, take all the cigar boxes off,
yeah.
and then it came down.
And cigar boxes aren't very soundproof, so that's added the soundproof foam, but these things bounce sound off of them left and right. So I tried stuffing socks in them to make them less, I guess.
I won't.
What, they bounce
Yeah.
the sound?
Yeah, the wood on them just bounces the sound a little too much. But I thought by putting socks in the cigar boxes, it would muffle that and make it, help with it. But it doesn't really.
So as the person who does the laundry, as I'm missing all of these socks, and I have no idea what's going on, and then I don't even know what made me open one of the boxes one day, and like 6 socks fall out of the box. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I start opening all the boxes, and they're all stuffed with the missing socks that have been gone
Yeah.
for 6 months, and I'm like,
Now, but most of them, or because we have 3 wiener dogs, as I told you, but most of those socks had wiener dog holes because the puppies would chew the socks and leave like little holes in them. And I would show her the sock. I'm like, hey, can you fix this? She'll try to knit it up a little bit, and
you give
fix
up
it,
after
but-
sock number 20.
yeah, but I had probably 50, 75 socks, crammed into these things at some point.
Do people play music in here?
Not so much. Jason was actually playing my amp last night. I have not, and I could, and I think I was talking to somebody about this. I could technically record in here, but I would need to make some changes. But I'm
I think
not.
we were like brainstorming about this a while because that's a walk-in closet, and you could even turn
Yeah,
that into like
I
a
just-
sound booth, like a recording
Yeah.
booth.
I just haven't.
I was just
that-
wondering. I was just wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
I haven't yet. I would.
More like a talk thing.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
mainly talk studio and
But is the equipment's like able to do?
yeah, all the
the
stuff I have
recording.
over here, you could just easily transform it over. This is basically an 8-track recorder, but I ordered a big 20-track recorder, and it was too much for what I needed, and it wouldn't allow me to take phone calls, which this mixer allows me to take phone calls, which we do all the time on the show, so we can do like the live interviews and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
with like somebody that isn't here.
yeah,
Mhm.
Wow.
yeah. Brad, do you want to call in?
Brad, watch it.
Yeah, well, I
Mhm.
don't know if he is. He was, but yeah,
That's the one thing about YouTube is they don't tell you who's watching. It'll just say
It's
like,
YouTube Live.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're live right now on YouTube.
Oh.
So, but yeah, so we'll do the live show and then call in, Brad, mofo. Yeah, Brad's gonna call in. Yeah, we'll do the live show and then I'll edit the live show and post it up again later as an official edited show. So it works out pretty well. But yeah, I mean, I'm still learning. I'm not a professional,
Now you're doing
sound producer by any
you're
stretch
doing
of
a
the
good job.
imagination, but it works out, man. I
How
tried-
long you been doing it?
I think we started our first show in October.
October. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even know how many we've done now, but so I have the website drinkingwithdrew.com.
There we go.
There we go.
Grasshopper, call
And,
for.
Yeah. What's up, Brad? Can you hear?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Put on, Brad.
So, as you can
Yeah.
see, we can get phone calls from people who are listening. What are you up to, Brad? You're just sitting at home listening to this show.
Yeah, I have a back injury.
That's
so
what I
the
heard.
last couple of days, I've
Oof.
been, I tore it up pretty good. So I don't know what the hell I did to it.
Is
Getting
it at
old,
least
I
a good story? You were saving a cat from being
No.
run over.
You're
You know.
fighting a lion.
No, it's just saving a bunch of nuns in a bus. On a fire.
Write a song about it.
You just sneezed
You know,
wrong,
who
didn't
hasn't
you?
heard that story?
You just sneezed wrong.
Yeah. When I hurt my back, it's either I sneezed wrong or I'm filling up a fish tank with some water.
Right. Or you like kicked in your sleep and you like threw your back out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I
not
do
gonna.
it like I do it every time. I was doing stupid yard work and I
There you go.
freaking did something and
Okay.
yeah, and now I'm all screwed up. But it's getting better. I've been stretching it out, as they say.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're
Yeah.
speaking with Brad Mader from Must Not Kill, and he just happened to be tuning in to Ben's show. Brad, it's not going to affect your tour, so they're going to be going on a tour up north here
Yeah, I
soon.
saw that like about 3 shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the G Spot tour.
Yeah, right. The G
That
spot.
sounds like something Gary Lou would do.
So what is it? It's
man.
Gainesville, Florida, Gainesville,
Two
Georgia,
Gainesvilles and a Greenville.
Greenville. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man. Well, I
Yep. Yeah, it should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's about time we hit the road a little bit and do some stuff. So
right on.
see how it goes.
So you're officially out of work.
Well-
Is your injury like work preventative?
Yeah, I work at home a lot.
Oh, okay.
So it hasn't really affected me at all.
Okay.
There's some physical stuff I need to do there, but obviously with this, I need to take a couple days. So yeah, I'm still working,
Okay.
typing.
No, you're doing it. I
That's
thought you
about
were
it.
slaving it behind the wood of guitars. You're typing now. Come on.
Oh no.
That's all
Not
good.
me.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm still waiting for my custom Dean guitar.
I'll start whittling now.
Yes, thank you. So I don't know, Ben. Do you know? So
What are you doing with that pocket knife and that piece of maple? Oh,
exactly.
it's a long story.
Yeah, we played shows together 20-something years ago.
Oh wow.
Damn.
When did Must Not Kill start?
Yeah, 2004.
Oh,
I
that's
think-
about when we
I
were
think that's
playing
around when I
shows.
met you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We did a few.
Good to
Did
see you're still
the-
doing it. Wow.
Yeah, I can't quit, man.
Yeah.
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 The only thing that keeps me half sane. I don't know what the hell else I would do in my free time if I wasn't, trying to write some songs or something. I'm sure Ben, you can relate to that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You've been playing.
I'm glad to
a
see
lot
you still
longer than
doing
I
it,
have.
man. Good to see you at the show the other day.
Yeah, it was killer, man. Did you see the whole thing?
Yeah, I
You didn't
saw
pop
every
out like
band.
some people I know. And left after ministry.
I know
He
you-
saw the crowd entertainment too.
I know you weren't happy with Filter.
Ugh. Why was that band on that tour? I don't get it.
No
That,
clue.
is, that band.
They got to change their name to Filler.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that.
That is
So
true.
good.
Jeez, I never even saw that one. Thank you for that. Filler. That's a better.
I'm just gonna open the door for him.
Yeah, I just thought they had that one hit, but it's like, even live they were just blah,
Yeah. The guy
I don't
sitting
know.
the guy sitting next to me to my left was the biggest Filter fan in the world.
Oh yeah,
And that was the only reason he bought tickets to the show was to see fucking Filter. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, and man,
God.
when they came on, he just went insane. But I was in my head, kind of laughing that he came there just to see Filter. But then when Ministry came on, I'm like, well, I can't really rag on the dude because I basically came here just to see Ministry. So I get it, but
That to be honest with you, that's why I went. I saw Ministry a long time ago, Lollapalooza, and all those shows that they did back in the day. But yeah, I thought they were excellent.
yeah, oh man, they tore it up.
I thought it was funny with Filter when they ended their set. The guy next to you was like, "Oh man, that's it! Like 4 songs." And then you turn and you look at me and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, only 4 songs. Thank God."
Thank you.
Couldn't take another
Yeah.
one.
I was like, thank goodness. But get them
I
off.
think during the whole set, I was like trying to fasten the noose and just end it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Couldn't deal with it.
When
I
was
just, that was the only down part of that whole show was that I just. didn't
when
get
was
into it at all.
Lollapalooza? You saw
That was
Ministry.
Cooper and Rob Zombie. It's incredible. Pardon me?
When was that Lollapalooza? I can't remember. When Ministry played.
Well, I was back in New York, so that was, oh my God, I've been late 80s, early 90s.
Because I can't ever recall Ministry. I can't ever recall Ministry playing in Florida. I guess it did come through.
Playing where?
I can't ever recall Ministry playing in Florida.
I was in New York.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I lived in New York until I came down here in 2001. So
Oh, okay.
I was in New York before that. Yeah. That was that's when I did my stint with All Out War and, did all the touring and all that stuff with those guys up there. So,
What band?
All Out War.
I was in All Out War.
Oh, okay.
No.
'Cause I remember a
Yeah.
band called At War. Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
we had the 3 names. Just like Must Not Kill, I can't escape it. Must Not Kill, All Out War.
Well, cool, Brad. Thanks for calling in, man. And when are you coming back on the show?
Whenever you'll have me, man. I'll come in. Whenever you got something cooking, let me know, man. I'm there.
No, you're missing my meatballs
Maybe
tonight.
we'll get yeah, I heard that, man. I was like, man, you get those pizzas and you get all fancy with Ben Meyer, shrimp and shit.
Yeah.
He probably got you good beer and everything too, right? He gives us like Bud
It's
Light.
just Mick Ultra.
Ben requested Mick Ultra, so that's what we got. He's not that fancy, beer
Awesome.
snob like you are.
With your chocolate beer.
Well, he
Hey, you
likes
like
the
those chocolate stouts, though.
Bro, that shit was so good, though.
Yeah, he's been trying to find it.
Well, he
Hey,
said
when
it.
when I come next time, I'll grab a 4-pack.
Sweet. All right, bro. Well, thanks for calling in and
Yeah.
showing Ben that this call-in feature actually works.
Wow.
Right?
We're fancy like Applebee's.
Oh my God! Don't
Well,
quote
I'll tell you-
country.
I'll tell you, Ben's one of the true diehards around here. And for anybody listening, you haven't gone to see Ben do his solo stuff, definitely go check it out. He's a great performer, a great entertainer, and better yet, a great friend. I've known him for a long time. So, Ben, keep doing what you do, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Brad. Thanks a lot.
Definitely, man. All right,
All
Brad.
right.
We'll catch you, bud.
I'll see you guys.
Later.
See ya.
Yeah. So as you can tell, my drinking with Drew hotline is a grasshopper phone. Which,
Every time though.
but see, I use a grasshopper line for my business. So when I added the line, it was a very cheap solution because
Right.
I didn't have to give my cell phone number out. Brad has my cell phone. He could have easily just called my regular cell phone number, but whatever, you know. But yeah, the grasshopper line is the way we do it.
Cool.
It's funny.
Yeah. But anywho, so you're gonna take some meatballs with you?
Sure.
course.
Well, sure.
Take
Yeah.
take some with you, and yeah, I'll probably once I eat meatballs, I can't have meatballs again for like a month.
Right.
It's like one of those things, man. It's like,
Let's start calling up all the neighbors. Who wants some meatballs?
yeah, and they don't make like a 2-person pack.
Well,
you know,
because
it's
you
like
get them
you're
at
feeding
Sam's
a
Club.
family.
Like you
No,
go
but
to Publix because then they have smaller
yeah, but
options.
you can't. It just doesn't
That's
work.
true.
You know,
yeah,
you
Publix has.
then it's
Yeah.
too small.
You
You're getting
also did-
you're getting 16 meatballs instead of like
Yeah, but you
3
did also
pounds.
have me find the
the
largest
same
crock
price.
pot
exactly.
on the face of the planet.
I do have a
because
very
you-
large crock
you
pot.
Didn't even like the regular size crock pot for your meat. You're like, it's too small. So I got one that's bigger, and you fill it up with meatballs even still. Yeah.
No, Brad, I said call the show, and you did call the show, but you can always call the show by just calling my cell phone number. So you can call the toll-free number all you want, but you can just also call my cell phone number, and it comes through the same line, is all I'm saying. You didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly as you were instructed.
You did
To the T.
exactly as
Perfect.
I said, but you can call the toll-free number, which we can post here online, 1-877-225-DREW, or you can call my cell phone number, which you're a friend. You have my cell phone number. So anybody that's a friend that has my cell phone number can just call my cell phone number. I'm just not giving my cell phone number out on the air. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Anyhow.
Thanks for hanging with us, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging with us, Ben and Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
When's your next trip to the Hard Rock?
Right.
It's a good question. I've been going there once in a while just to see the local talent or
Yeah.
have a beer.
It's
It's
a
right
cool
next
place,
to our
like-
house.
We don't
Mm.
gamble, so we go and we just have a dinner and a couple drinks and maybe a cigar.
Yeah.
We gambled a little bit.
Did you? Yeah. I don't know. She might do $20 here and there.
Yeah.
But,
I think that
We're not
the-
big into it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just go with the budget, how much we're going to spend, and stick
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
if I lived that close like you guys do, it'd probably be dangerous. I'd probably eat there way too much.
Right.
They do have a pretty good selection of food. I like the Hard Rock, the cafe we were at. Just-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when you go there, you have to go and sit at the bar and ask for Nicole.
Yeah. Nicole's
She's the best.
bomb.
Yeah.
How
was
often
there
you
that
go
night.
there?
We were going like 2 or 3 times a month. We've slowed
Mhm.
it down probably once a month now. But
Yeah.
it's just
Cool.
we're sporadic. Like we'll just
That's about once a month's enough.
yeah.
Mhm.
We'll wake up and just be like, "What do you want to do today?" I don't know. And we'll just
Yeah.
fart around, and the next thing you know, we're like, "Let's go to the Hard Rock."
Well, the night when we just saw you recently,
I didn't even tell her we were going.
I'm just like, what am I wearing? Am I wearing like jeans and a t-shirt? Am I getting dressed up? What are we doing for dinner? And I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to just look cute. And then he's just taking this weird direction. I have no idea where we're
Well-
going. And then it wasn't until we got to the fairgrounds and he turned onto MLK to go in through the Orient.
She goes, "I know where you're
I was
going."
like, oh, now I know where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Well, she always asks me, "Where are we going?" Because she wants to know if we're taking the motorcycle.
Right.
You know, are we
you
going?
got to know how to dress.
Well, I mean, I dress the same way no matter where I'm
Right.
going. Jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a t-shirt. I'm easy. She's like, "Am I wearing a foo-foo, a 1-1, a ding-ding?" I'm like, "I don't know. You dress however the fuck you want to dress."
One and a ding dong.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. You dress however the fuck. So, but yeah, I get it, but and we'll get out. We'll just start driving. And sometimes when I'm driving down 301 or interstate, I'm like, still thinking, where are we going? Like I still, just don't know. Like I'm probably the most.
It's that's a good way to do it. You just go wherever the car
Yeah.
takes you. Man, it's like
Mhm.
we do that. We have like on my birthday. I go. She goes, "Where do you want to go?" I go, "I don't know. Let's just get in the car and go."
Yep.
and we kind of stopped at all these oddball places we don't normally stop. And
You guys ever go to Jesse's in Brandon? The steak-
man, they got the prime rib. That's
Yeah,
like
man.
amazing.
Isn't that- yeah.
We don't go there too much, but I once in a while.
Yeah, that's kind of a maybe once every 6 month dealio for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was working at Jesse's because they used to have one in Temple Terrace on
They
Fowler
did. I
Avenue.
don't remember that one. Okay.
So I worked at that when I was a busser back when I was probably 15 years old. And it was a busy Friday or Saturday night, like packed. We're on a wait, and we're just trying to clean tables left and right and get people out and in, blah, blah, blah. And it's probably like 8 o'clock. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just hear this gunshot. Pow! And people were like, what the fuck? Everybody gets up, hauls ass out of the restaurant. People were leaving their meals, like chaos. You know, shots fired inside Jesse's. They had that huge, like even in Brandon, they have that big fish tank. They had one 5 times the size in the Temple Terrace Jesse's, and they had one huge, I don't even know what kind of fish it was, huge freaking fish in that thing. Amazingly, the shot did not puncture smash the tank up. So come to find out, this guy was sitting at a table, had a small gun in his pocket, and he reached across the table to pick his infant up from his wife. They were handing the child across the table to each other, and the gun falls out of his pocket and shoots him in the ass.
Oh my god!
And this guy is just laying there on the floor like, "Ah," you
He
know.
didn't shoot his kid.
Yeah, I know. Didn't shoot the fish tank. Didn't shoot the kid. We all lucked out. But come to find out, he was an off-duty fucking TPD cop.
Oh my goodness.
And so, yeah, everybody was like, dude, what the fuck? And I guess one of the bartenders hit the panic button. So, like, 5 minutes later, Temple Terrace Police Department shows up with their fucking guns drawn and people running all over the place.
You know how much money they lost that night with
Oh,
everybody dipping out on the
Tons.
checks?
Probably 15 grand. I don't even know. Tons. But, yeah, that was, and then they had Jesse's by Busch Gardens for a little while. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and then but the one in Brandon, man, that was the original. It's been there forever. So
Still there.
still there,
Mhm.
still kicking. Yep, dude named Frank owns it. Always owned it. So yeah, who's got a pee?
You?
Me. Yeah.
This is around the time where you say, okay.
Well, we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. That's a good show.
Nice.
That's a
We're
good show,
good.
Ben.
We're good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could sit here honestly, man, and pick your brain for fucking all night, but I know you got places to be and things to do.
And work to do tomorrow. Well, some
Well,
of us.
Some of us have work to do. She's always got work to do.
Always.
Fucking the legal field never stops.
I'm going to stop saying what I do for a living.
Yeah. I'll say it online. She's a paralegal.
Nope. I do not do that. Do not ask me. I cannot give legal advice.
She'll
I don't
knock
want to
her-
talk about your shit. I don't want
I mean-
to tell. Go talk to an attorney. Not me.
My emails are bad enough, but so I probably have 100 at a time. She'll knock hers down to like 80 and go into work the next day and they're like 200.
And it will stress me the fuck out
Yeah.
being at that number.
But see, I get my emails on my phone. You sometimes do
I
sometimes
refuse to
don't.
do it. It will stress me out all day. Nope.
Whatever. Anywho. All right, y'all. We're going to call it. Again, thanks, man, so much for coming out, Ben.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thank you, Kathy, for hanging out. And again, anytime you guys want to come out, seriously,
Yeah.
make
Just
it happen.
call him and be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm in the area.
Yep. And we'll make it happen.
And he will be here.
Oh,
All right.
and we're going to show it again just because Brad and Must Not Kill, they're the ones that did this this video for me for the Drinking with Drew show. This is a Must Not
he
Kill
did
song.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
This is a Must Not Kill song.
Tell me one.
Let me see if I'm going to fuck this up.
You are.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m.